abdicate a little bit, only because I believe that, and this is part of my corporate experience, inside a corporate boardroom, you see and hear lots of things that the majority of the company does not see, and you have to make difficult decisions based on that. But you have to make decisions and take a position. When I think of the military action that occurs, I am certain that there's a lot of information that I, as a private citizen, do not have today, and that information will influence how I think about our positions and what our military action should be. And so I know that there's information there that I don't see and that I'm not privy to. And so I'm not trying to second guess, and yet I do want to be very clear that those folks that have access to that information, we need to take a firm stance on, if we're in war, then let the military do their job, and let's get out of their way as a government and let them do what they've been trained to do. And if we're not at war with that nation, then we really need to pull those soldiers back and let them come back where they need to be, and that's at home.
You know, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I did a film called, I filmed the first Homeland Security meeting. FEMA, the name of my film is True Face of FEMA, and they talk about needing troops to guard this. They're asking to guard in case of a single disaster here, a single case of smallpox. They'd need several 100,000 well-armed, well-trained, organized, disciplined troops. And he's asked, you're talking about the National Guard? No, they're going to be in Iraq or Afghanistan. No, we need a cheap source of well-armed, well-trained, organized troops. Now, the information that's coming out through the internet and through some of these laws, and McCain is one of the people that's passing these laws, enemy detention. Suddenly, if they decide that you're speaking out against the war in Iran or the war in Iraq, you could be termed a domestic enemy, a domestic terrorist, a homegrown terrorist, and suddenly dissent in America has become a crime somehow?
Yes, I'm aware of that, and I think that's fundamentally off base because it violates our free speech rights. It violates our ability to have, discourse and disagreement with one another, and we need to be very careful. Again, this goes back to the basic premise: limited government. The federal government was never intended to govern how we think or how we have conversation with each other. It was never intended to govern our faith. It was intended to be a limited perspective with primary roles, and it's so far out of line that, anytime you see new legislation introduced, my first question is why? Why do we need this legislation, and why isn't this decision be happening at a state or a local level?
Okay, let me switch back to a domestic issue here for the moment.
Yeah.
Plank number 9 on the Communist Manifesto is corporate farms. Can you say Archer Daniels Midland or Monsanto?
I know both of them, yes.
And we have a situation here now. The situation's been around for many years. We've got fluoride in our water. We've got depleted uranium being used as ammunition overseas. We've got every other commercial on television is for some type of pharmaceuticals. And at the same time, we've got people like Monsanto that are trying to put the Roundup in your corn. We're poisoning the American people. Between fluoride, aluminum, you can't eat. According to my information, the test on the snow on Mount Shasta is